From the soundstage in the digital media classroom here at Wellington High School, welcome to another episode of Dialogue with the Dukes. I'm your host, Bill Berger, and today's show is being brought to you by Truly Simple Boutique, located at 134 West Herrick in downtown Wellington. The gentleman to my immediate left, everyone should recognize because he has his hand in so many things here within the village. I mean, you can talk about band, you can talk about digital media, you can talk about challenges, you can talk about drama clubs and everything else associated with the village of Wellington. Well, today we're going to talk about two specific events coming up here very soon that are or should be of interest to everyone within not only the high school but also the village itself. Dave Conklin is our guest today. He is the English instructor here at Wellington High School. He also is in speech for 9 through 12, and he's also the digital media instructor, obviously, since we're doing that right now. Welcome, Mr. Conklin.
Thanks.
Glad to have you with us. As I said, we're going to talk about two events coming up very, very soon. The first one being the Winter Endurance Challenge. You may have already seen, just posted if you look down the homepage of Wellington High School, and all over to the far right where digital media, YouTube, he just posted the 2018 Endurance Challenge. So if you have any questions after we get done interviewing Mr. Conklin, he has that up there that you can get even more information about the endurance itself. So the Winter Endurance Challenge. This isn't just something that was cooked up. This is something, there's a story behind the Winter Endurance Challenge, so please provide that for us.
Yeah, by the way, that video produced by digital media students, okay. And got two going along on the one coming up too, and so we'll keep everybody posted about that. Mm-hmm. But it's really an extension activity for an historical event that happened about 120 years ago. Ernest Shackleton was a preeminent British explorer, and he took a team down to Antarctica, and their goal was to hike across the continent of Antarctica. And they got hung up in the ice in the Weddell Sea, and it consumed their ship, and suddenly there were 29 guys on a massive floe, and their expedition changed from a trans-Antarctic hike to survival and get home. Mm-hmm. And it is just one of the most amazing events that were written about, and in this case I've read 2 books about it. And for me it was a page turner, but for many students it was an eye closer. They just were not as enthralled with the whole thing. So I thought I gotta figure out a way to encourage kids to empathize with the unbelievable nature of this thing. And so I, and back before she retired, Eileen French, who was also an English teacher, we concocted this survival activity out back. And as a matter of fact, first it was out back behind the high school, and it lasted a couple of hours. And then it has grown into this multi-activity 6-hour event where students will basically design their own sledges. They will assemble them, they'll put them together. All teams will have the same amount of materials, building materials. They will hike and drag all of their supplies to what we call endurance camp. It's out on the Conklin farm in Brighton. And they will cook their own food, play soccer, hatchet throwing, marksmanship, poetry, performance, build their own shelter, and keep throughout the day work at endurance activities. They're constantly on the go to get an idea of what it was like for Shackleton and his men. Day after day for about 1.5 years they were out in this massive expedition.
Well, don't hold me in suspense. You said you've read 2 books on this. Were they successful? Did they survive?
They did. Not a one person died, which was the most amazing thing. One of them got frostbite and had to lose all of his toes on his right foot, I believe it was. And they were able to, on Elephant Island in this mucky little, they called it the snuggery, 2 overturned lifeboats that they had. They were able to operate on the guy without infection.
Oh my.
Didn't lose anybody. It was just, that's the amazing thing about it. And the teamwork that they went through and the discipline and the cooperation that they exhibited throughout the whole ordeal were key in their survival.
And when you talked about the whole ordeal, how many days or months did this whole challenge take place?
They left South Georgia Island in December of 1914, and I think it was, and I've got to look at the book again, the dates always escape me, but it was a year and a half, so I think it was May of 1916 that they were finally rescued.
Well, that's a long period of time.
Out in the elements and no shelter at all but what they could make for themselves.
Well, you talked about the fact that this challenge takes place on your farm, the Conklin farm. So actually, what is actually involved? You kind of went into it a little bit, but they all congregate at one particular place. What takes place as far as chronological events in the challenge itself?
Okay, so first off, they have to be dressed appropriately. And my goal with this is to find the coldest, snowiest day in the winter, which nowadays is getting tougher and tougher. But
Yeah.
if it works out right, they have to be dressed appropriately, otherwise they can't get on the bus to go out. They usually arrive at around 8:30 at the farm, and they go into the barn where I give instructions. Teams are there, and they've determined their teams. We do that the week prior.
Okay.
And they get there, and then immediately they have to build the sledges that will haul all of their equipment and a person. They have to have enough weight on it to simulate or at least get close to what these guys did, where they had to haul their lifeboats that weighed a ton each on mushy, slushy snow and everything. Anyway, so they do that, and then they get to the camp, build their shelter. They have to start their fire without matches. They have a flint kind of thing with kindling and straw and stuff. And then they got to cook their own meal, which, to be true to Shackleton, is mainly meat, but we'll go veggie, but it's got to be limited because Shackleton and his men had to learn to live on seal and penguin for weeks on end. And then they compete in various athletic competitions, because that's also what Shackleton and his men did. They perform a theatrical skit, and they document in their journals. They'll take their writing journals, they do that all on site, pack everything up so that the only thing left there are the footprints of the events and everything. And then they trek back, which is just as arduous as the trek to the camp. And then they engage in a relay race on one of the steepest hills on the farm. It's called the Hill Number 9 Challenge. And then it's a final dash back to the barn, and that ends it. And then they got to pack all of their clothing up into an industrial grade garbage bag so that the bus drivers will shuttle us again next year, and we don't get their bus filthy. And then that's that.
Well, I guess two things. We need to define, I don't know what a sledge is, and where do all the materials come from?
All materials I get from Farm and Home right downtown. They got everything. And the sledges are just a all wooden sled-like device that they build from pre-cut lumber. Everybody's got the same amount that they can put materials and a person on. And it's got a long rope so that they pull. They got to do all the pulling themselves.
No sled dogs.
Nope.
No sled dogs. You mentioned the fact that we have teams. Who is the challenge open to?
Sophomore English classes who are reading the book.
Oh, okay. And are there any townspeople, adults, or anything besides you you're proctoring it, but are there any adults involved with this?
Yeah, on the permission slip for the students, there's a little box, a check for any guardians or parents who want to be chaperones. And this year I have one parent he's actually a former student.
Oh, okay.
And his son is now part of it. That's kind of cool. And then I think we just took on one more community member because we have so many students involved in this thing this year.
How many students?
Right now,
You said
it's-
10 teams. How
that's
many,
right.
how many people are on each team?
Tried it, 4 is ideal, 5 is the maximum. And so, right, we have just about 48 students signed up for this.
Wow, that's a lot. Is there any chance that you might involve any other students in the future?
Not with this. I mean, when we have this many sophomore
Sure.
English students, there's no room for anybody else.
Right.
Like I said, though, I got 2 digital media students that are gonna come document it through video.
Mhm. Well, the most important thing is, when does the event take place?
A week from this Friday, February 25th.
So hopefully, this will all be edited and everything, and they will have the chance to see the results of the pre-Winter Challenge information. And once again, don't forget that if you go to the Wellington Exempted Village homepage and click on YouTube Digital Media, I believe it's the latest thing that you have actually launched down there, the Endurance Challenge from 2018, and that'll give you an idea of what these young sophomores are going to go through in about a week and a half.
Yep.
When we come back, we will discuss the other event that's going to be taking place here at, shall we say, in the Patricia Lindley Center, the newest spring play. When we come back, this is Dialogue with the Dukes.
Hi there, are you tired wearing the same clothes and trying to find new stuff? Why don't you come down to Truly Simple Boutique? We found a problem. If you want to stop wearing the same clothes every single day, we found a solution. Our solution is that you should try on some new things like jeans, shirts, and buy some new stuff like mugs, pens, earrings. If you want any of that stuff, come down at 134 W. Hedrick Avenue, Wellington, Ohio 44090 or call 440-987-9770 and we will hook you up with a changing room and with some cool stuff.
We are back. We hope that the young ladies that are involved in the audience, not only the students but also within the village, we hope that you do visit the Truly Simple Boutique located at 134 West Herrick. They've got all kinds of things there for women. They've got clothing, they've got mugs, they've got shoes, all kinds of things for the females in the audience. Once again, the Truly Simple Boutique located at 134 West Herrick. During the first portion of this interview, we talked with Mr. Conklin about the Winter Challenge that's coming up in about a week and a half on the 25th of February, but we have another very important date coming up, not only within the high school, but within the entire school district and the community itself, and it's the spring play. So, Mr. Conklin, tell us about the name of the play and briefly summarize what the play is all about.
The play is Night Watch, and it is a murder mystery, and it is about, it takes place in New York City in I don't know if the time matters really, but it's set in the 70s.
Okay.
In the early 70s, and if you're familiar with Alfred Hitchcock and his show, I think it was Rear Window, wasn't that Jimmy Stewart, I do believe, and he, in that movie, or that scenario, Jimmy Stewart's character witnessed what looked like a crime across the alleyway. So in this, it's similar. The main character, her name's Elaine, and she happens to look out her window just as a crime appears to have happened across the aisle, or the alley. And she is the only one who sees it. And because of her history, she's had things that's gone on in her life, and she's behaved in ways that make some people around her think she's emotionally unstable, and so people begin to doubt because no one else has seen what she's talking about. People begin to doubt what she has seen. She insists that, and she holds true to what she saw. She doesn't give in. And throughout much of the play, this tension is created and maintained, and it escalates throughout to where, as it progresses, we find out, what really is going on, and of course I don't want to go into that, but it's, and it involves the cast involves both drama club, high school students, and community theater. I have 3 members of the community who are in it, Denise Rutkowski, Jay Eastman, Norton Eastman Funeral Home, and Craig Farnsworth. Craig and Denise have been part of our productions for many years now. Jay just come on board, and it's nice to have him. And then in the drama club members are Maya Farron, Jonah Stump, Drew Denger, Sophia Palmason, Allie Peck. Oh boy, I hope I'm not forgetting somebody. I always do that, right? I think, Estella Oley.
Okay.
Estella Oley. And if I've forgotten someone, please forgive me. And anybody, we'll see the playbill here soon.
Well, I assume you are the director. What's your job description for this play? What do you do?
Well, I found the play, and I basically, we're in the middle of a read-through right now. And so it's, I guess I have a vision of how the play should look on stage, appearance-wise, as far as the set.
Sure.
So I've already met with Linda Hatton, who has been designing our sets for a long time.
Sure.
And gone over what I, see, what I think I want to see on the stage, and she then takes it and applies, my vision, I suppose, in a practical sense, and what'll work, what won't. And then while we read through, when we do the read-throughs, when I hear the actors now reading the lines of these characters, usually, like even last night, I think 2 or 3 of the actors said, okay, here's what's going on with your character, and here's how I think you ought to kind of approach them. But then it's allow the actors also room to develop and make that relationship with their character themselves. And then it's just kind of tinkering around the edges, putting it together building it as it goes, and creating it's almost like sculpting a work of art in a way. It's just performance art.
Well, number one, has this play ever been done by the school or the community? And number 2, how did you literally stumble on this play?
No, it hasn't been.
Okay.
And I wanted to do a mystery, and so I just Googled murder mystery, and then there are many play services that I've been working with over the years. And I went to them, and they have criteria. You can kind of fine-tune a search. And this was one of 2 or 3 titles that came up. And I was close to doing a 19th century one. It was kind of a Sherlock Holmes kind of play by Dickens, Charles Dickens. He had actually written it, died halfway through, then someone finished it up for him. And I was this close. And, but it's the dialogue, 19th century dialogue is pretty dense. And it's awesome for actors who are committed to it, but it can be a workout for audiences sometimes. So I kept looking, and this one appeared, and started reading it. Actually ordered the book on eBay, and got through about half of it, and then it was one afternoon I started into the second half, and couldn't put it down. And I thought, there it is. That's the one we're going to do.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, now it's time for a commercial, not the Truly Simple Boutique, but a commercial for the Wellington High School Drama Club and the community theater. Who is involved? How do they get involved?
Well, Emily Camper-Ferdano is my assistant director at the high school, and she's building a very robust program for little kids at McCormick. And then this summer, we'll be doing a workshop for Westwood kids. Dottie Sanciola, who manages the Lindley Center, she's integral to all of this. We did work together with a Wellington graduate, and I think you interviewed him, Connor Baker. He graduated Ohio University with a playwright degree, and he led an adult summer workshop that we did last year. And we're going to keep doing that and grow that program so that, which I want to stay involved with, In a few short years, I'll be retiring from here and turning the drama club over to somebody else. And then, but I want to keep going with the adult theater. And that is already in motion. And our goal with this beautiful Lindley Center, and it's been my 10-year goal, is to get the majority of the community first to know it's here. Many still don't know it exists. But then to grow our own theater culture here that'll outlive me and everybody else that's involved with it at this point.
If somebody's interested, whether it be adult from the village or student or anything like that, besides you, who do they contact? Who do they go to?
Go to the Lindley Center website.
Okay.
You can check that out. The district website as well has the community theater link on it. And you can contact us anyway like that, and just pay attention to upcoming plays and auditions that are coming up, and come get involved. It's an awesome place. I mean, Lindley Center is where we've been approved, and Vincent Lighting is going to come in hopefully this month. Everything's kind of tough now with the supply chain blocks, and
right.
But if they can get in, Lindley's going to undergo a $24,000 light upgrade. Switching to all LED lighting, and it's just going to transform our shows. And from there, it's just growing and growing.
Okay. Well, once again, the name of the play, the dates, the times, the cost.
Night Watch is the play. It'll happen on April 7th, 8th, and 9th. It is, the cost, I think it's $5 for students and senior citizens, $10 for adults.
Where's the money go to?
Oh, the money all goes to community theater. Goes right back into our programming for set construction, set design, materials, scripts, royalties. Anytime we do these, we got to pay royalties as due. That's
of course,
and that's the way it should be. But a production, especially a musical like Newsies, that's what Emily's putting on with the younger kids. The royalties can be $2,000 just to put it on. Then you're paying for materials, paying for construction, you're paying for any help that you might need, and so on and so forth. So,
well, I can certainly see interviews coming up in the near future, especially around the play, and maybe having some characters come in and talk about their experiences with the play. But initially, we just want to make sure that everyone in the village knows about the Winter Challenge that's coming up on the 25th of February, and very soon after the 25th of February, the digital media class members that go out on the Endurance Challenge will have that up on digital media, on YouTube digital media, and also on April 7th, 8th, and 9th. The name of the play again is
Night Watch.
Night Watch, and we hope that everyone will have the opportunity to see this new spring play. We'll be back again very soon with another episode of Dialogue.